Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for over 40 years. I'm going through the text this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. Today, we're reading from A Course in Miracles, Chapter 9, Section 1, The Acceptance of Reality, paragraphs 9 and 10. Paragraph 9 says, ultimately, everyone must remember the will of God because ultimately everyone must recognize himself. This recognition is a recognition that his will and God's are one. In the presence of truth, there are no unbelievers and no sacrifices. In the security of reality, fear is totally meaningless. To deny what is can only seem to be fearful. Fear cannot be real without a cause, and God is the only cause. God is love, and you do want him. This is your will. Ask for this, and you will be answered because you will be asking only for what belongs to you. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's ask for God. Okay, the title of this section is The Acceptance of Reality. And the reality is what is that God's will and my will are the same. With this recognition, which must come for us all, the ego is undone and we will remember what we are. While we all fear this shift from the illusions of truth until we don't, the fear is unwarranted. Fear cannot be real without a cause, and God is the only cause. There is no fear in reality. In reality, we want love, and God is love. This is our will. This is a will we're learning to remember and embrace. It is already ours. And so this is a simple process of releasing the false will and accepting what we really want. Today, I'm going to add this mantra to my usual practices. God is love and I want him. This is my will. This prayer will be answered because I'm asking for what belongs to me. So paragraph 10 tells us when you ask the Holy Spirit for what would hurt you, he cannot answer because nothing can hurt you. And so you're asking for nothing. Any wish that stems from the ego is a wish for nothing, and to ask for it is not a request. It is merely a denial in the form of a request. The Holy Spirit is not concerned with form, being aware only of meaning. The ego cannot ask the Holy Spirit for anything because there is complete communication failure between them. Yet you can ask for everything of the Holy Spirit because your requests to him are real, being of your right mind. Would the Holy Spirit deny the will of God, and could he fail to recognize it in his Son? When I ask for anything that would support the ego thought system and thus maintain the dream state, I'm asking for something that would hurt me. Since I cannot be hurt, I'm asking for nothing. This would not be a true question. It would not even be a question from me, but from the ego. And I'm not the ego. Here's an example from when I was still working. I had a very chaotic day at work and nothing went right. I had to wait for customers at each stop, and this put me behind on my schedule at a time when I could not afford to be behind. A lot of things went wrong, little mix-up, miscommunications, and the like. By the end of the day, I realized that my chaotic thinking had made a chaotic day, and so I asked for clarity. Again, I used lesson 325, the keynote to salvation, to help me see what happened. This lesson tells us that we make the day we experience. We have a desire, and from that desire, we make an image of what the desire would look like. Then we project that desire and look at it as if it were real, and we defend it. So I asked the Holy Spirit to show me the desire that sourced my chaotic day. It all began because I was disgruntled with work, with the company I worked for, and with my boss. I felt underappreciated and unfairly treated. This feeling was my request. Holding this belief in my mind and believing it is what started the whole thing. My desire, based on this belief, was to be unfairly treated and to see myself in a job that made me miserable. From this desire, I made an image of how this could be true. The image could have appeared in many ways, but the image I made for that day was to have a chaotic day of late meetings and everything going wrong. I got a clue during the day when, after one particularly difficult experience, I had the thought that this was just not fair. I've noticed since I started using 325 as a practice that I have a lot of experiences stemming from the quest to be unfairly treated and to be a victim. So I knew in a general way what was going on, but it took a while to let go of my victim stance and ask for clarity. Is this a real question? No. This desire to see what it feels like to be unfairly treated and to be a victim is not a real question because it hurts me. It is an effort to make the world real. The ego readily answers it because making the world appear real is its goal. This is why it took a while, from nearly a whole day, to get clear on it. All the circumstances I had projected outward temporarily confused me, and I believed in them and defended them. I had thoughts like, this is so unfair, and I wish I could retire and not have to do this job anymore. Those thoughts were in defense of the idea that my experience is reality, that I really am a victim, and that the answer is to change the world. I had a desire, so I made an image of the desire, projected the image, then believed in it and defended it. But I also have true thoughts in my mind. And even while this was happening, I was aware of those thoughts as well. It felt frustrating because I was asking for conflicting solutions. I was asking the ego to fix a problem, and I was asking Holy Spirit to heal my mind. Conflict is suffering, and boy, was I suffering. It wasn't until I was clear about what I wanted that I got relief. Fortunately, I saw the problem and understood the answer. When I finally set aside the desire to be unfairly treated and made a different choice, that my mind be healed, the Holy Spirit answered my request swiftly and completely. When I asked for my mind to be healed, I was asking a real question, one that led me to an awareness of love's presence. This is a question from my right mind, and the answer is the will of God. So it cannot fail to be answered. It became clear to me that my job is not my problem, and retirement or another job is not the answer. There's only one problem and one solution, and the circumstances in my life represent either the problem or the solution, depending on what I want. The problem did not begin in the world, and the solution is not there. It began in my mind with a desire to be unlike God, and the solution is in my mind as well. It is the Holy Spirit and the remembrance of what I am. I notice that the ego really wants to hold on to the idea that this situation is real and that the answer lies in changing the world. And if I hope to be happy, I better do that. But I'm placing my trust in God. Today, I ask only that I experience peace and joy. That is my desire, and it is the will of God. So I will expect a sure and ready answer. And that's just as true today as it was then. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. I'll be back soon with another reading.